Hey guys, it's Charlene. Thanks for joining me here on the ScrapbookPal YouTube channel. I'm going to be showing you how to make some gorgeous foiled cards using new products from the Spellbinders Hexi-Gems Collection. So I'm going to start out by cutting a piece of this blue foil, and this is hot foiling. So you can see over there I have my Spellbinders Glimmer set up and heating up. And I'm using here the Hexi-Gem hot foil plate. This is a solid hot foil plate, and I'm just gonna put the plate down on top of my foil. So you want the shiny, pretty side of your foil touching your plate. So once I get it positioned exactly how I want it, you can see I have an A2 sized card panel there, so it's 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. I have the Hexi-Gem lined up so that it is in the middle of this card panel. And now I'm just going to tape this directly to my paper. I find that helps a lot with reducing any kind of skipping or anything like that when I am hot foiling. So I hit the timer. Once it was done, I put my shim and top plate on there. And now I'm going to run it through my die cutting machine. This is the Spellbinders Platinum 6. And when I'm working with solid hot foil plates like this, this is the only time that I run the piece through twice through my die cutting machine. If I'm working with a standard kind of hot foil plate with a design or with a sentiment or something like that, I make sure to only run it through once. But again, if it's that solid hot foil plate, I find that it does a better job of foiling if I run it through twice. And then also what I like to do is make sure that it has completely cooled down. So I'm kind of waving my paper there a little bit. And now you'll see when I peel this off, I'm going to get a beautiful, solid, foiled image there with that Hexi-Gem. So pretty. So now I'm going to do a fun technique where I double foil. So I have that beautiful blue foil. Now I've got a piece of silver foil that I'm just going to lay right over the top of the image. And now I'm coming in with the Hexi-Gems Blooms hot foil plate. And there's also a die that comes with this. So I'm going to do the same exact thing. I'm going to place the hot foil plate over the foil, and then I'm going to tape it down. You can see I'm just making sure I have it in the correct orientation. And once I have it taped down, again, I'm going to put it back on my Glimmer, hit the timer button, and once it's ready to go, I will go ahead and put that shim and top plate and run it through my die cutting machine. Now, because this is just a regular hot foil plate, I'm only going to run it through one time. And that helps ensure that there isn't any overfoiling or any skipping on the foiling or anything like that. So I take off the shim and top plate, and then I can bring it back over and put it back into my Glimmer machine so it can heat back up for the next image. I usually like to go ahead and do a lot of different images in one go while I have my machine out. So now I can pull that off by the tape. And look how pretty. You guys, I love this technique. Look at that double foil. And if you do get any little extra bits of foil on your paper, you can use an adhesive eraser and just lightly brush those off. But now you can see there, look how pretty that looks. Now I did go back in and do another version of the Blooms hot foil plate. And this I did in the blue foil because I'm going to be using this for my second card, which is a really fun tone-on-tone technique. What I'm doing is I've taken the negative piece of foil that was left over after I did the Blooms hot foil plate, and I've put it on a separate piece of cardstock. And now I'm using the Hexi-Gem hot foil plate to hot foil that negative image. And look at that. How pretty is that? You could use that on its own, but I'm going to be using it in a unique way that I'll show you in just a moment. But while I've got my Glimmer out here, I'm going to go ahead and hot foil several sentiments as well. And these are the Hexi-Gem sentiments. And so I'm going to do these in the blue foil, and I'm also going to do them in the silver foil. What's really nice about this sentiment set is it has a really good variety of sentiments, and it also comes with the coordinating die, so you can cut these out really easily. It's this beautiful banner die, and it's super easy to line up. You just line up over all of the foiled sentiments, and then it's going to cut them out all at one time. So now you have all of these sentiments that you can keep in your stash and have ready to go at any given time to add to a card. And they are so pretty. I just love how they look with that foiling. Now that I'm done with all of the hot foiling, I'm going to cut down that negative foiled image that we made, and I'm going to use the Essential Hexi-Gems dies. These are really nice. There's several different sizes that come in the pack, and originally I wanted to cut down my gem so that there was a small white border around it, but I found that it was not showing enough of the blooms plate that we had done in blue, so I cut it down even further, just being careful to make sure that the lines of the pattern on the negative would line up with the lines of the pattern on the positive. Hopefully that makes sense. Now I am popping up the negative piece on top of the positive piece, and I'm just using some Crafty foam tape underneath there just so it adds a nice bit of dimension to the front of the card. Next, I can go ahead and put the whole card together. So I'm using some Gina K-Connect glue here, and I'm gluing this down to an A2 sized card panel in some light blue cardstock. You can see I did trim down the white card panel, so I'd get about 1/4 of an inch border all the way around. And now I can go ahead and put my beautiful Hexi-Gem sentiment right over the top of everything. Now it does hang over a little bit on the sides from the negative foiled piece, so I am using just a little bit more of that Crafty foam tape, and I'm kind of tucking it in underneath each side where the banner is, and that's going to help support the sentiment so that way it does not get crushed when it's going through the mail or anything like that. Once I get that done, I just need to add a little bit of bling. On this card, I'm using some Pinkfresh Studio Jewels, and I am using the color Sky Blue. On my other card, I'm going to do that as well, and I'm going to use a different color. I just love the Pinkfresh Jewels. I think they are very pretty and work particularly well with any of these kind of floral images. So I'm tucking those in here and there. I think I've got about 5 there on the card, and that's going to finish off this card. So now we can put together the second card here. I went ahead and cut out a set of the die piece from the Hexi-Gem sentiments, and that's just going to give me a bunch of little extra blank banners, and I can use those to layer up my sentiment so I can make it thicker and add a little bit of dimension on the front of the card. I added 4 strips of Crafty foam on the back of my card panel, and this panel is trimmed down so there's about 1/4 of an inch border all the way around, and you can see I folded down the release tape just a little bit so that way I can position everything on my card base before I commit. And once I get it exactly where I like it, I can push down on the top and then remove the rest of those release strips. Now I can go ahead and add my sentiment. I layered this up with 2 of the blank banners, and I'm going to put this again right across the middle of the card. And I used a silver sentiment on this card because it ties in with that silver blooms. And now I've got the Glacier Pinkfresh Studio Jewels. These are really pretty because they pick up the colors that are around them. So there's that beautiful finished card. All right, I hope you guys picked up some tips and tricks today. Thanks so much for joining me today on the ScrapbookPal YouTube channel. Be sure to like and subscribe, as well as hit that notification bell so that you'll know about future videos. Have a great day.